As we slowly work our way through this collection of 20 consoles from a customer, next up is an NES. The customer sent in both controllers that also need servicing and 2 games. So let's just take a look. This is the customer's NES console. We can see we've got some damage on the cables. Both controllers want a full service, the games and the console. We have 2 Game Gears and 2 Game Boys to get through, a load of Game & Watches, and we have already fixed this Tetris 2-in-1 and 3 Game Gear games. I won't be working on the Game Boys, but the customer wants everything original, the shells retro brighting. So if you remember what these look like, I'll show you once they're done. And you can see this is all going to get cleaned up and retro brighted. The same for the Game Gears. You're not really going to see much here. These are going to go from not working to working, and the customer wants everything original. I'll still show you these working at the end though. Let's start by trying to get the games and console to work. So this is the customer's power supply. And we can see it doesn't quite work. Let's just reset. And no. Let's try with the game up. And we just get the blinking red light, which is a fail load. So let's just try different angles. And no. So let's just clean these games first. And who's going to guess the size of the game inside here? There you go. We'll start with a pencil eraser. This is a natural abrasive to rub any grime and contaminants off. And next up is a wipe with IPA to clean all of the actual contaminant off. And now we have those pins done and those pins to do. And with them all cleaned, we can see we now get game load. It's very detrimental though, so the slightest movement and sometimes it doesn't load, like there. So that will be a sign, obviously we need to service the console, but we can see the game at least has been serviced. So this is the connector where the game goes in and rises and lowers. And you can see the connector doesn't physically move. And when we put a game in, it goes in the connector, and this just holds it at a different angle. And that's the problem with the NES connector, is that these pins get bent over time and go too low from the game being pushed down. If we remove this off the board, you can see part of it connects here at the bottom, and that's usually fine because it never moves. But the pins in here are what we need to bend into position. The technique I like to use is take half of tweezers and bend the edge like that, so you've got kind of a point. And then over the connector, I can go into the hole, hook and pull down to extend these pins back down. One last step is to microwave some white vinegar and then take the connector and dunk it in. Now I see people leaving this for like half an hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. This literally takes about 5 seconds. So you can leave it in for 10-15 seconds, but that's all it needs. It's similar to descaling a kettle. This will happen instantly and remove all of the blue typical electrolyte or grime on here. It neutralizes it. And once done, tip that away. And then to get rid of the vinegar and the water, just a spray of IPA. And that'll make that connector now as good as it possibly can be. And here is the difference before and after. So this is before we bent the pins out and cleaned them, and this is after. So you can see now the gap is nice and tight between the connectors, and this is how they were. And now with it all back together, if we put the game in and turn on, there we go, we get game load for that one. And that one loads too. To service the controllers, this needs cutting back and reusing. The customer wants to use this original cable, so we'll do that. And all the rubber pads inside need a service and clean. Servicing the rubber pads is nice and easy. You see that shine there of kind of grease. You just get a piece of paper, push down and rub, and do that a few times. And now you can see how that one's dull compared to that one that's shiny. So if you look at the shine on the ones I haven't done compared to the ones we have, you can see the difference. And that's the controllers restored, all the cables fixed. Let's just test if these work. And that's that all working. Time for a treat. With the NES down, that leaves the Game & Watches to fix, Game Gears and Game Boys. And one other announcement we've got today. This is a business in the US now, an actual local US business that is run by myself and somebody else in the US. And we have every single product we sell over in the UK now in the US. So if you want quicker shipping and local service over in America, you can go ahead and visit retro6.us instead of .co.uk.